Hello, this is Sospel and we're here today to do a special ride to celebrate 1,000 rides on Strava. This is a once in a lifetime ride. I'm probably not going to be able to do this again. I'm getting too old for it, quite frankly. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see me. Just had a look at the view. This is one of my favourite places, perhaps my favourite place in the whole world. 15 years ago, I used to come up here in a car and I'd often camp out alongside here. I'd put my tent on the track here and I'd have the door facing outwards, so I'd wake up in the morning and I'd see this view. I haven't been back here for 11 years because it's pretty far from where I live now in France, but this time I had the opportunity to come back here, so I decided to do it for this special 1,000th ride on Strava. We're going to be taking those hairpins there. I believe there are 14 hairpin bends in a row. So we're going to strap the camera on. We're pretty much ready to go. Last night we camped out. We slept in a hammock with a sleeping bag. Alright, so I have to do the descent with all this stuff on my back, look. So I've got a hammock in there. I've got my sleeping bag strapped on to the bottom of my camelback. So I'm going to be going down the hill with that attached. Now, before I set off, I'm going to add a bit of extra tyre pressure because I'm not quite happy with my tyre pressures. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get out the CO2 and I'm going to top the tyres up and then we're going to go. So I'll be back in a moment. See how much that front tyre moved around when I went through one of those bends. But yeah, that's what the litre meant to me. Right, I'm going to take it easy now though. I don't want to join that. So I'm back home. I got home from Nice, no problem. We had to cut the ride a little bit short. Well, quite a lot short actually. I decided to call it on the grounds of safety because of previous incidents and just because of the general unsafe driving conditions in Nice. So we stopped at Nice, we got the train home, we got home safe. I feel good. I think there's a lot of positives you can say about that. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do one of the first ever videoed post-ride debriefs. Now, the tyre pressure I had on that ride was absolutely unacceptable. I'm going to check this now, and I reckon that there isn't even 10 psi in that tyre. And to be fair, it has been left overnight, so it could have deflated further, but yeah, I'm guessing 10 psi. 1 bar, 10 psi. That's what I reckon. Don't know if you can. There we go. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how much pressure that tyre has in it. Can you see that? Yeah. Yep. I'm absolutely dead on. 10 psi, 1 bar. Wow. And I think when I did the descent, it was more like 20 psi, but it's still far too low. But as you can see, I still kept it under control, and I only felt it become really unstable on one occasion, so we did pretty well with that. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to loosen this this lock nut here. I suspect that the reason why it's leaking, and it is this valve that's leaking, it's leaking here. There isn't a puncture, it's just this valve. There's a rubber O-ring underneath there. I suspect that that could be damaged, or alternatively inside the tyre there is another rubber device which I also think could be damaged. There's also the tubeless tape which goes all the way around, which makes it airtight, which enables you to use the tubeless technology for this tyre. That could also be damaged. It means basically that I have to take the tyre off the rim. It's a really long job. I have to find out the problem, I have to fix it, I have to put the tyre back on the rim, I then have to get the beading reattached, which sometimes can be really difficult. I mean, you can understand why it's absolutely impossible to fix that at the side of the road, and I just had to make do with what I had. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to unscrew that O-ring, I'm going to inspect the O-ring. If it's just the O-ring, it's going to be a much shorter job. But if it's anything inside here, I'm going to have to put this on a special stand, and I'm going to have to take the tyre off, and it's going to make a mess as well. There's like pink tyre sealant inside there, so yeah, wish me good luck with that. But the great thing is, we had a fantastic ride. It was the best ever. It was so beautiful. It was magnificent. Even with like defective equipment, I got away with it. So you can't really say more than that. All right. I may be back later with another video once I've found out the source of this problem. Oh yeah, I just want to show you one more thing. Here we go. Watch this. I mean, it might not be as effective now, but if you just put a bit of lateral pressure on the valve, yeah, you hear that? You hear that air escaping there? Yeah, yeah. That's how dodgy it is. All right. I'll be back later. See you later. Hello, and how's it going? We're back 1 week after our epic ride to Nice, and here we are with debrief number 2, which is good news. We've finally fixed the tyre, which is well, pretty typical really for tubeless tyres. They can be damn difficult to fix, and a lot of it is just making adjustments, re-inflating the tyre, and then just leaving it overnight to see what happens. And as you can see, it's now holding the pressure. I believe that's probably around 3 bar, which is 60 psi, which is the kind of pressure that would be acceptable for doing a downhill ride like the one that I did a week ago. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you my tools, and I'm going to show you how I actually managed to fix this in the end. Now, whilst I was on the ride, this was the only pair of grips that I had. This will fit in my emergency box. It's not exactly great, but it's better than nothing. Now, with these muck off machine grade aluminium valves. The idea is that you're supposed to keep this lock nut nice and loose, so that in the event of an emergency on the side of the road, you can remove it just by unscrewing it with your finger. But trust me, it's not realistic. It's not realistic. What often happens is that you get, for instance, like tyre sealant on the thread here, and even with a spanner, it's an absolute nightmare to get off. Alright, so what I did in the end was I took this spanner. This is a 11mm, and I put it on the lock nut there. I then got a stronger pair of grips, which is these here. So what I'm doing then is I'm putting the spanner there, holding the lock nut in place, also holding the valve there, and I'm turning it downwards, and that is further tightening the lock nut. I also put a new O-ring on there. So what that means is now that if you move it laterally, oh, there was actually a bit of a leak there. Okay, but it's stopped. Okay, all right. It's a lot better than it was. All right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. See, there was even a slight leak there. So I mean, even now it's not absolutely 100%, but certainly, you know, acceptable for riding. Much more acceptable than it was. Let's try it again. See if it does it again. No. I also added around another 100 millilitres of Tubeless tyre sealant. This is a product from Muck-Off, but this is actually not the mountain bike version. This is the road and gravel version, which is a new version, which is superior to the previous one. And I've started using it, and I've noticed a big improvement in performance. So congratulations to Muck-Off for that. Let's try this again. No, there you go. All nice and sealed. Alright, okay. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. I'm very happy that that's rideable now. I left it overnight as well. I put it on my special maintenance stand just to check it. And what you can do is you can just keep spinning it around every now and then, because the centrifugal force really helps to push the sealant into any areas where there might be some leakage. All right, okay, so yeah, I think that's just about it. So we finally fixed the tyre. I mean, you can see why it's just impossible to fix out of the side of the road. And you've got absolutely no chance. I mean, probably 20 psi is your best chance with CO2, which is exactly what I did when I was on top of the mountain. You really just have to make the best of what you've got. So yes, it was a successful ride in the end, just about. Oh yeah, the point I was going to make is some people, they still use inner tubes. Now we do have an inner tube. I'm not sure if I can show it you. I have an emergency inner tube. Let me see if I can get it out without pulling everything else out. No, I don't think I can. Alright, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. Okay, alright. So this is our emergency inner tube. You see that orange thing right in the middle there? So that would have been, if I'd completely lost tyre pressure, my only choice would have been to install that, and it's untested. I've never used it before, so I don't actually know how good a rescue job it would have done. But the problem with inner tubes is you cannot run them at as low a pressure as you can tubeless. So the chances are, if I'd have had to rely on that inner tube for that descent, we would have got a pinch flat. And what a pinch flat is when the inner tube gets trapped between the rim of the tyre and the rim of the wheel, and causes it to puncture. It causes a hole, and then you've just got a completely flat tyre, because you cannot run inner tubes at as low pressure as you can tubeless tyres. So that's one of the reasons why I go tubeless, because I know that in the event of a low pressure situation, I've got a better chance of making it to the finish than I would if I had inner tubes installed. So yeah, go tubeless, honestly, it's the best thing to do. Okay, well I hope the debrief was useful to you, the second debrief. I'm not sure I'm going for my next ride, but I'm planning another big ride soon, so I'll let you know when that is, and I'll be absolutely sure to take some video footage, and I'll be uploading it to YouTube. Have a great day.